Glad to have you join us on another edition of the program Political Update right here on Ogtv, the People's Telly. Political Update is your dependable ally when it comes to political events that have shaped or that are shaping the political landscape as far as Nigeria is concerned and beyond, right here on Ogtv. Today is not going to be an exception. We've got news that have happened from the beginning of the week up till this present moment for you as far as politics is concerned. Our discussion today, we are looking at something that is integral and that has always been subject of debate since we moved from military rule to the democratic dispensation. That's nothing but the cost of governance. How can we, reduce the cost of governance so that we can actually make progress? Because some persons are actually saying that it is because of the so much cost in governance that, that's also part of what is slowing down the growth and the progress of the nation. And we have a politician, former Deputy Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, will be joining us in the conversation to actually take us through all of this. But before we go into the discussion, let us take a break. We are going to be serving you news and events that shaped the political scene in the last couple of days. Enjoy, I will be right back. The federal government has inaugurated a 10-man interministerial committee to enforce the Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, will lead the committee. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, and the Accountant General of the Federation are members of the committee. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Edo, presented soft copies of voter register to political parties participating in the September 21 Edo governorship election. Dr. Anobum Onwa, Resident Electoral Commissioner, REC, in Edo, presented the register to the chairman and secretaries of political parties and other officials at INEC office in Benin. The Resident Electoral Commissioner, REC, of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Ogun State, Barrister Niyi Jalaye, is dead. It was gathered that the Ogun REC slumped and died in Abuja on Monday evening after a meeting of RECs at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. On the foreign scene, Barack Obama told fellow Democrats in Chicago that a torch has been passed to Kamala Harris and that the United States was ready for her to become president. Former President Obama, who was greeted with rapturous applause and cheers at the packed arena hosting the party's nominating convention, joined other notable leaders who have endorsed Harris for the exalted office. Harris has since accepted the nomination and promised a new approach for the nation. That was Political Update News, where we actually brought you up to speed with happenings in the political landscape as far as Nigeria and, of course, the foreign scene are concerned. And just reaching us right now is the information that President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun as the 23rd Chief Justice of Nigeria, pending a confirmation by the Senate. Kekere-Ekun actually took the oath of office and signed the oath of register at about 11:40 a.m. at the council chambers of the State House, Abuja, earlier today. So we say congratulations. That's a major one, and definitely a lot of expectations are actually expected from her in the coming days as she stares the saddle of the justice system in the country. Now, the conversation is beginning right away, and I have in the studio, I told you earlier, we have a former Deputy Speaker in the Ogun State House of Assembly and also former media aide to Governor Abeokuta of Ogun State, who together we are going to be looking at the cost of governance. Well, is it, we're going to be looking at it really. Is it on the high side? I mean, because he was once in government, so he's going to be letting us know whether it is on the high side, if there is anything we need to do to reduce it and how this can be reduced. We have Right Honorable Remi Azan joining us live from Bayelsa. Good afternoon, Honorable Remi Azan. Can you hear us?
Yes, good morning.
Yes.
Good afternoon, rather.
Yes. Yes.
Let's State.
Yes, good afternoon.
And a pleasure being with you on the program.
Yes, it's our pleasure also to have you. Let's dive straight.
I hope I'm audible enough for you to hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you loud and clear. Now, let's dive straight into the conversation. Cost of governance. There has been a debate over the years that it's on the high side. Some persons are saying, no, it is not on the high side. But you have actually been in government and also been out of government, and you also came back as media aide to a governor in Southwest. Let us know, do you think the cost of governance is actually on the high side? Can you hear us, Honorable Remi Azan?
Yeah, it's actually relative, but I would say for this moment that we are in is on the high side. And we must take it from a very explainable perspective so that we will have an understanding of why we are taking that position. The government is a system that functions with organs. But governance is, of course, the overall complex structure with which the processes of government function. Now, the cost of governance is the overall cost of making that structure function. Now, at the level of looking at this cost, you will divide them into two. There are the ones that are considered as capital expenditures, and there are the ones that are considered as recurrent expenditures. When we had a fantastic revenue in the 70s, when the slogan and the narrative was, oh, we have money, the problem we have is how to spend it. It may, at that time, till the early 80s, late 90s, look like the cost is still something that we could deal with as not being too much. But in these days of dwindling revenue, whatever it is that we have currently, that we have sustained in the last 2 decades, is indeed on the high side. And that is why the Orosore panel was put in place to look at how to ensure that the cost of governance is reduced to the level where it can be easily dealt with as touching on the revenue available to government. So in these days of dwindling oil revenue and other related revenues of government, side by side with what goes into cost of governance is very high.
So do you think it is having any negative impact really on the economy of the nation generally? Yes, Honorable Rabi Azad, I don't know if you got the question. I mean, quite a number of persons have argued that that's like a clog in the wheel of economic progress for Nigeria. Do you agree with them that the high side, I mean, the cost of governance that is on the high side is actually affecting the economy of the nation negatively?
It is not just affecting the economy of the nation, it is also affecting governance. And when governance is affected, you're likely to have a stagnated development. And that is why, for instance, when you look at cost of governance from the capital expenditure standpoint, you have the problem of overpriced projects, you have the problem of unexecuted projects, you have the problem of abandoned projects, you have the problem for disregard for due process, which has to, for example, we just had a case now of the Ogtv issue that led to the seizure of the federal
assets
jet. That is just a case of carelessness in taking advantage of the arbitration clause in the contract with which that project management was empaneled or put in place in the first place. All these are needless errors that will trigger expenses. The money that will be used to prosecute all of these legal crises now can be used to do better things that will be more profitable to government. So it's not just on the recurrent expenditure, it's also there on the capital expenditure side. So governance is affected, economy is affected, and at the end of the day, development is stagnated. So it's a whole gamut of problems and not just a one-sided perspective.
Of course, we have the Orosai report that recommended the scrapping and merging.
I will have to hear you louder.
Okay, well, we have the Orosai report that recommended the scrapping and merging.
Your audio is still very much
very low. Oh,
you're not as audible as you love.
Oh, okay. I hope our engineers will be able to do something about that. But of course, I'm actually talking about the Orosai's report.
Maybe the engineers should do some bit of work on your audio. Because if I don't hear your question, I doubt if I can give answers.
I quite agree with you, and I'm sure they are on top of this situation. But hope you can manage to really get what I'm actually trying to say. I'm actually talking about the Orosai's report that has recommended the scrapping of some ministries and agencies of government, and of course the merging of some of them, to be able to help us cut the cost of governance, both at the federal and of course at the state level. What do you think could be responsible really for the delay in the implementation? Like 2-3 presidents have come and gone, and these reports have not been implemented. But before we take your response, let's quickly go on this break. When we come back, we are going to continue the conversation.
what happens when we elect public servants and don't tell them what to do for us. Voting is not the end. It is just the beginning.
My name is Fatima Yusuf, a polio vaccinator working in Lagos. The challenge we face is mainly misunderstanding. Some say because the children receive routine immunization at health center, they don't know.
The program is still political updates right here on Ogtv, and we still have joining us live from Bayelsa via Zoom, Honorable Remi Azan, former Deputy Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly. Yes, before we went to the break, I was talking about the Orosaris report and why we've had a number of presidents who had these reports on their table and yet never touched it. Why? What could be responsible for these? And we know that it's a way forward, really, for us.
You see, the biggest challenge we have with governance in Nigeria is how to reconcile vested interest with national interest. Now, vested interests are sectoral, and some persons have turned themselves to lords of the manor in certain sectors of the Nigerian economy. So if a particular report suggests that that sector should be restructured, and if the restructuring is not going to address their interests and sustain it as it were, they will pull some strings from behind to ensure that all such effort at restructuring doesn't work. The only reason today why a Rosary report is still suffering full implementation is because of vested interest. And until we learn as a nation to put national interest over vested interest, we will still be at that same stage. If the Rosary report is implemented to its fullness today, the issue of cost of governance will naturally address itself. That's where we are.
Okay, so let's look at it. Yes, I quite agree with you. That's actually an extensive document that will go a long way.
I'm having the problem of audio again. I can barely hear you.
Oh, wow. That's actually network, unfortunately. I'm sure our engineers are actually on top.
I still cannot hear you, sir.
Oh, okay. I think we have to go on a break. When we come back, well, the program will continue. Do not go anywhere.
Not being able to achieve.
Well, we are having serious network issues, unfortunately, and so our guest could actually not hear us clearly. But of course, the points really have actually been laid as far as cutting the cost of governance is really concerned. We really need selfless leaders who actually will not put their interests, before the interest of the nation. We need leaders who will actually put national interest first. To be able to achieve this, and we cannot but continue to ask government to do the needful. That's the size of the program. We really apologize that we are ending on this note, but we must thank our guest, Honorable Remi Azan, former Deputy Speaker in the Ogun State House of Assembly and former media aide to the Ogun State Governor, President Abeokuta. We thank you for your time with us this afternoon, even though network has actually short-lived it. But I'm sure our guests have enjoyed your your opinions really on the few sessions that we've had. That's the size of the program, political update for today. Next week, we are going to be coming your way again with another edition of the program. Enjoy your Friday and do have a pleasant weekend ahead.